I want to give you a quick glimpse into how I got here, not to impress you, but to show you what's possible when you commit to mastering this craft. So, when I started in high ticket sales just 3 years ago, I was terrified. Like, I'm talking full on anxiety before every call. I used to get panic attacks on every call because I knew that deep down, I knew I was not in control of the conversation. I didn't know how to lead. I didn't know how to handle objections. And I definitely did not know how to earn respect. And so I would literally stutter and sweat profusely on my calls. I remember prospects stopping mid sentence and asking me, "Are you okay?" That's how shaky I was. And it was so embarrassing. So one day I just decided, you know what? Enough is enough. I'm tired of getting steamrolled. So it's either I'm going to figure out how to lead people or I'm going to quit sales because it's not for me. So I became obsessed with one question, which is how do you earn respect on a sales call without being pushy and without slapping people around? And so that led me down the rabbit hole of mastering how to lead people at the highest level. So fast forward to today, I closed 3.4 million in 2024 alone. And for me, I mean, I was a teacher before that. So I had never made more than 4,000 a month. And so that was life-changing income for me. But more importantly, it was proof that when you learn how to lead people to the truth, their truth, everything changes. So now I teach closers and business owners how to do the same thing, which is how to have powerful conversations in discovery that actually move people, not just toward a sale, but to actually making the decision to change their life. So, what I want to share with you today is simple, but it's not always easy to execute. Okay. It's how to get to the truth on your sales calls and how to hold up the mirror for your prospects without shattering it. So, there are two main truths that you must uncover if you want to lead someone to a buying decision. Before we get into getting to the truth, like the nitty gritty of that, we need to unblock ourselves because unfortunately, being brutally honest is not intuitive, right? Because unfortunately, we are wired for survival. We're not wired to close deals. We're not wired to get rich. We're not wired to, be brutally honest. The interesting thing is when we were younger, we did that. Little kids are honest, brutally honest, right? They'll be like, "Mom, you look fat." Like, thanks. So where did we lose that? I'll tell you where we lost it. We lost it when we were growing up. I think we all know this at this point. Society has conditioned us that we need to be polite. We need to be liked. We need to not ruffle feathers so that we don't get exiled. Because a long time ago, when we existed in these tiny tribes, these small communities, if we upset people or we got kicked out of that community, it's over. It's a done deal. Like you're screwed because that was your sense of safety. Now it's a different story. So we need to unblock ourselves so that we can feel confident getting to the truth, so that we can feel confident holding people accountable, so that we can feel confident in calling people out when they give you BS, because this is what we're getting on our calls. Okay. So when it comes to unblocking ourselves, it's important to understand, and here's a dose of truth serum for you, that not getting to the truth makes you ineffective. Not getting to the truth waters down your value as a sales rep, even as a friend or a brother or a sister or a daughter. It waters down your value and it shrinks your own certainty, and the prospect can feel it. So it's just like we all have that friend, right? Who every January 1st, they're like, "I'm going to go on this new diet and I'm going to go to the gym 5 days a week." And by January 12th, they're not going anymore. And you notice that, and they know that you notice that. You want to say something, but you don't because you don't want to hurt their feelings. That friend can feel in your energy that you want to call them out, but you're not because you want to protect their feelings. Same exact thing happens on your sales calls. Your prospect can feel when they give you some BS excuse as to why they're not where they want to be, they can feel that you want to say something about it, but you don't. And that tarnishes your respect. And then you wonder why at the end of the call, they're like giving you BS. Oh, I got to think about it. And, or I got to do this, or, yeah, thanks for the information. I'll get back to you. They know they're full of shit. They know you know they're full of shit. But the thing is, they feel confident getting away with that because you let them get away with stuff in the beginning of the call. And by doing that, we think we're protecting them. We don't want to hurt their feelings. The reality is, we're being selfish and we're protecting ourselves. We're protecting our ego from, you probably said it in your head, rejection. Goes back to, we can't get rejected or that's dangerous. The thing is, it's not here. Being afraid of rejection is costing you a lot of money. It's costing you a lot of deals. And you know it, and I know it. We all know it. So it's either we continue doing that, continue kicking ourselves, continue not making the money we want to make, or we change that. Because the truth is, the best closers, they earn trust by being the first person who's willing to say the thing that no one else will say. Our prospects go their entire lives making excuses to their friends, their family, their loved ones. And most people, because of that fear of rejection, don't hold them accountable. This is why, if you want to be a top closer, this is why, if you want to be a top closer, it needs to be a non-negotiable that you be the person who's willing to say the thing that no one else will say. So, can you promise me that moving forward, you will be the person who says the thing, who calls them out, who holds the mirror up so they can see the truth? Yes? Because if you can make that promise to yourself, you're already a big step closer to making a lot more money and actually helping more people. So that's the first step. Now that we've made this promise, let's talk about the first truth. Okay, so take notes. Truth number one is something that a lot of us, we're screwing up, okay? When we start off our sales call, a lot of us have some version of what brought you here today, right? What prompted you to book this call? What is it that you're looking for help with specifically? We think that what we need is to find out why they're on the call. We hear, oh, yeah, I'm here to get some information. Great. Okay, we know that's surface level. A lot of us, when we hear, oh, I'm just here to get some information, we're not thrilled, right? No one's happy to hear that because we're like, oh boy, here we go, right? We know that we need more than that. What I notice is that a lot of closers are not going deep enough. So let's say we have that first layer, right? Just want some information. Okay, fantastic. When you have that information, I'm curious, like, what is it that you want to achieve with the vehicle? Let's say you're selling e-commerce, right? Helping people to build their Shopify store or TikTok shop or do Amazon FBA. So it's like, what is it that you're looking to achieve? And then you get the income goal. I want to make 10,000 a month. Okay. The thing is, a lot of people will stop there. They'll keep going into the next part of their framework or their script. And it's like, that is not what you need. Rather than why they're on the call, what we need is why they're going to buy today. So again, rather than why they're on the call, what we need is why they're going to buy today. So let's walk through this. Let's say you start off with, I just want some info. Fantastic. You just want some information. Well, we know we need more than that. So you ask the next question. And what we want to do actually is keep asking why or some variation of why. Okay. Got to keep going deeper. So you just want some information. Well, when you have that information, I'm curious, like, what is it that you want to achieve ultimately? Oh, let's say another stream of income. And I'm going to give you an example of a prospect who's very vague, which is the hardest kind of people to crack. So that way you can feel confident working with even the easier prospects. Okay. Another stream of income. Okay. When you say another stream of income, like how much are we talking here? What do you want to see on a monthly basis? 10K a month. And be curious, guys. So be curious. So where you're writing notes, right at the top of your page, be curious, because this is the key to digging deep without pissing people off, without sounding like a robot. Okay. Genuinely be curious, because they'll understand, when little kids are curious, they don't care about pissing you off. They're going to keep asking why. Why? What does that mean? Why is that important to you? Right? This is the energy we want to have. So 10,000 a month. Okay, I'm curious why that number specifically? Like, why is that the goal? To take care of family. Okay. Or parents, right? Cool. So mediocre closers would stop there. We don't want to stop there because this is not deep enough. Again, we want to answer this question of why they're going to buy today. Because the reality is, let's say this person's 29 years old. If they want to take care of their family and that's why they want to make 10K a month, they didn't just like decide they wanted that today. They've wanted that for at least a few years now. So that doesn't answer the question of why they're going to buy today. So the next layer, you want to ask, why is that so important to you to take care of them? Because nobody has to take care of their family. Literally, no one has to do that, right? So parents sacrificed so much. Maybe they're immigrants, right? Or maybe they sacrificed a lot. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Mediocre closers would stop here. Yeah, they sacrificed a lot. So fantastic. Moving on. No, absolutely not. We need more, because this is not why they're going to buy. So let's go a layer deeper. Let's continue to be curious. Why is it important for you to be that person in your family, though? I can appreciate that they did a lot for you, but why be the person to take care of them? Especially if they have siblings. So that way you can go another layer deeper. Okay, so you want to make your parents proud. Okay, we're getting somewhere. I still want to understand, though, why is it so important for you to make them proud? Why? Because it's been years. What is it that you want to see? Ah, okay. They were never proud. So maybe they were the kind of parents who, this is the prospect telling you they were the kind of parents who, if you got an A on an exam, they'd be like, why wasn't it an A plus? You know? And for a lot of people, this is a very real motivation. Alex Hormozy is motivated by that, right? A version of that, proving to his father that he can build something huge. And this is a perfectly fine motivation. Now we see we're getting deeper. We went from, I just want some information to, well, I want to make my parents really proud. Okay, so now when you get something that's saucy, when you get something that's juicy, you want to ask, why now? Okay, because that is going to be the answer to why they're going to buy today. So you want to know how long it's been, in this line of questioning, in this conversation. Ask, how long have you been wanting to, get to 10K? So ideally, you would ask that here. So that way you can have the time frame. Let's say it's been 4 years. Well, now you can ask, why now? Why make this happen now? Why, put the time and effort into building a Shopify store so you can make this happen? Because that will give you the truth. This, if there's a sick parent, this is what gives us the time, which ultimately gives us the urgency. Now imagine if you did what a lot of mediocre closers do and you stop here, or you stop at here, which is most people would do. They stop at, yeah, take care of family. Okay, now I know the why behind the money, moving on. No. When you're able to be curious, that allows you to dig deeper and deeper. And when you ask laser pointed questions, you can get to the truth, which is that there's a ticking clock and they need to make this happen now. They need to be able to make more money so they can take care of their parents and make them proud, because there is a timer. This sick parent, this is why they're buying today. This is why the odds of them giving you some silly objection are very slim, because now there's urgency. And the crazy thing is, like, the urgency that they have, if they don't tell you, it still exists, right? It's still in their mind, in their soul. The way humans work is, for them to be held accountable by you, they need to tell you. And this is why it's our responsibility to get it out. So this is the first truth. So again, write down truth number 1, why they're going to buy. This is the truth you need to get. So now let's talk about truth number 2. Truth number 2 is, what held them back from actually achieving the goal in the last, 4 years, whatever the time frame is. So let's use the same example, building an e-com store. What held them back from actually making this happen? Because again, their goals that they came on this call with, they didn't just wake up yesterday when they saw the ad and have the goal. They've had it for years or months. So we need to get to the truth of why they haven't achieved the goal yet. And this is where people want to give you excuses. This is where you as a closer have an opportunity to help them and hold up the mirror and get to the truth. Because the truth is not because they worked a lot of hours, they don't have time. That's a common one you'll get. The truth is not that they're not there because they didn't know what to do, because they had access to the internet. They have access to all the free resources out there and the paid resources out there over the last 4 years. So we need to get past those excuses. And the best way to deliver the truth, think for a moment, what is the best way to deliver this kind of truth, or any truth? If you said with questions, you are correct, my friend, not by lectures. If I got a penny for every time I saw a closer just stand on their soapbox and deliver a lecture to a prospect, I would be a zillionaire with a Z. Because I don't know where this came from. I don't know who's teaching this. I don't know why people do this. If you're lecturing somebody, do you think that they'll want to listen? Of course not. So this is the best way to do it, is with questions, because they search for the answer themselves. And the answer, all right, this is the piece that is pivotal. The answer, the truth, comes down to just 2 things. Okay, a couple twos in this video, 2 truths, and these 2 things are the answer to this truth. It's either going to be a limiting belief or it's going to be a fear. And what makes this incredibly powerful is that if you're able to get this out in discovery, you can handle it before money's on the table. You can handle it before they're in fight or flight. You can handle it before they poop their pants when you tell them the investment is $10,000 for this program. And it gives you so much more leverage, because now the same truth that held them back the last 4 years, this is the same thing they were going to give you at the end of the call, but now it's handled. So now this is how you can get objectionless closes. This is how it's done, my friends. Okay. So here's the question that you want to ask them. It's very simple. Write this down so it's in your back pocket and you have it for life. How long have you wanted to achieve the goal? So ask that if you don't have that already. That's the key. And then, what held you back from achieving it? Or why aren't you there yet? Keep it simple. Why aren't you there yet? And again, you're going to get an excuse. And so when you get that excuse, we got to work through it. So let's hop on over to this doc here so we can work through these excuses. So let's say you're selling fitness, health or fitness coaching, okay? And you ask them, what held you back? Or what held you back from losing the weight over the last few years? The person gives you very common excuse, which is, I work a lot of hours, no time for gym or meal prep, right? So they can't meal prep to make healthy food, and this is why they're still overweight. Really simple to work through these, okay? Just don't accept it. I'm begging you, don't accept it. So many closers will be like, oh, okay, it makes sense, and then move on. And then at the end of the call, when you pitch your $10,000 program that's so juicy and it's amazing and it's going to get them the result, they go, thanks, it sounds great. I love what you guys are doing. I work a lot of hours, so I won't be able to do it, but thank you. Or I need to think about how I can make this work. And then you're kicking yourself because you saw this coming. So let's work through it. Very simple. Let's say this person really does work a lot of hours. Let's say they work from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. So you want to ask them, literally ask, okay, I can appreciate that. Like acknowledge it. I can appreciate that you work a lot of hours. I can imagine it is tough, right? What hours do you work? So ask. They say 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Acknowledge it. Be human. Be conversational. Wow, that is a lot. So you get home at 9 p.m. Wow. And then here's the question you want to ask. Now that you know that they do have some hours in the beginning of the day to spare, all right? It's not reasonable to expect them to do it when they're tired after 12 hours of working. But okay, they have some hours they can spare. Ask this. Is having goal, so having energy to run around and play with your kids, worth sacrifice, worth waking up an hour earlier every day so that you can, and then emotional goal, so that you can make the most of your time with your kids while they're young. Okay. If we're selling e-commerce, right? So this is a biz op offer, same thing, we'll plug it in, is being able to make 10,000 a month consistently worth putting in a few hours at the end of the day to build your business so that you can have the freedom to leave your job and travel the world with your partner. Okay. Everyone's going to say yes. No one's going to say, no, it's not worth it. And so the strategy with asking this question is to cut through all the BS and just go straight to the truth, which is what held them back. Because if having financial freedom is worth it, then what held you back from making the sacrifice over the last few years? Now we're going to get the limiting belief or fear. So remember, the answer to this truth is either a limiting belief or a fear. So examples of limiting beliefs, let's say weight loss. Yeah, I haven't put the time because I'm already tired and it's genetic. Like my parents are overweight, everyone's overweight. So I figure it's going to be really hard for me. Another example of a limiting belief for a biz op would be because I don't think it's possible for me to charge this much for my service in my city. I've seen people talk about it in New York City, Miami, and LA, but I live in Nebraska. I don't think it's possible. Okay. Or a fear. I haven't put in the effort because I'm worried about investing and building my business and it not working out. Or I'm worried about investing in a coach to get fit and I just don't think I can do it. So I'm worried that I'm going to waste my money. It's always going to come down to some version of a limiting belief or a fear. And the juicy, delicious benefit of that is you get to handle it. Okay. Now, I could go on and on for hours about different, limiting beliefs and fears and how to handle them. That could be its own separate training. For right now, I want you to have complete clarity on the two truths. So again, truth number one is, why are they going to buy today? That's truth number one, which is going to be, once you get the juicy answer of what they actually want, once you get the sauce, once you get the emotional answer, ask them, why make this happen now? And that will give you the truth. And again, urgency. Okay. Now you're probably wondering, how do I know when I've got the juice? How do I know when I have a saucy emotional answer? I will tell you. The way that you know is when you hear that crack in their voice, when you see the flicker in their eye. That is how you know when you've gotten the truth. When they look away when they answer, or they start to mumble it, or they respond really fast. That is how you know, because they're uncomfortable. They're a little triggered because this is the truth behind their goals. And this is why they're going to buy today. Okay. And again, the second truth is what held them back from achieving the goal all this time. It's not the excuse, it's the limiting belief or fear behind it. Okay. So if all you do moving forward is focus on getting these two truths on your call and follow the strategy that I show you to get it and to deliver it, you will close a lot more deals and you will make so much more money. Take that, implement, and go be great. If you haven't already, watch my training on how to unsell, because that's another major strategy that you can use in your discovery to have a more powerful conversation and ensure that that person doesn't give you BS excuses. So I'll link that video in the cards and in the description below so you can watch that. And I will see you in the next one.